Okay, so I'm going to start the recording right now. Just starting the recording here. Okay, so got the microphone on, got the recording going. Welcome to the Strategic Security Lab Network. Guys, I want to thank you for joining. It's been such a tough time getting this thing going, but I'm just so glad you guys are here. I definitely want you guys to start playing around in the lab. So I think what I'm going to do I'm going to do is I'm probably going to hold these meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, probably for the whole month. I kind of like the idea of giving you kind of some tips for the lab, more so than being like a full-blown class, but I definitely will like answer questions, show you a couple of tricks here and there, stuff like that. So if you guys are okay with it, let's get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to the network. Okay, so the first question is, has everyone been able to connect? It looks like everyone was in Tuesday's, looks like everyone on here was in Tuesday's group. You guys were all able to connect? Okay, you couldn't connect after class. Can you connect now? Kennedy, you want to try giving it a shot now? Let me know if you can connect. Okay. Sean, you want to try connecting? Okay. So let's get you connected. All right, James is connected. Good. Okay, so I've connected to the VPN. I think what we probably need to do Okay, so I'm going to build a command file of stuff that you probably should try. How many of you guys are connecting with your Windows machine? If you're connecting with Windows, let me know. Anybody connecting with Windows? Okay, how many of you guys are connecting with my Strategic Sec VM? Okay, all right, how many of you guys are connecting with Kali or OSX? Okay, I've got one OSX, one Strategic Sec, one Kali. No one connecting with Windows, huh? Okay. All right. Well, I can't hate that. You gave up on it with Windows 8. I got it going with Windows 10. I mean, I'm connected to the VPN right now. Yeah, I'm connected. Okay, so let's see if we can try a couple of things. If I were you guys, I think you're going to find this network is, I wouldn't call it tough, but I definitely would call it interesting. Um, Interesting. I think, to be realistic, I'm only decent in it because I built it, right? But I think we should start with a process. So let's try with ping sweep, port scan, banner grab, vulnerability research. Okay. So can anybody tell me what would the goal of ping sweeping be? Why would you ping something? What are you trying to learn? Why would you ping something? In the network side, okay, good. You want to know if a host is alive. Okay, so option one would be to ping an IP address, right? Okay, option two, in Linux, you can ping -b the broadcast address. You can also, within that -s capital P, an IP address. You can also, in that -lowercase s capital P, an IP range. You could do this. Okay, have any of you guys tried this? Have any of you guys tried this? Nmap space dash lowercase s as in Sam, capital P as in Paul, and then a range. Another option might be something like an ARP scanner. Okay, you use discover-r. Okay. So let's see if we can look at something that might hit us a little. Maybe something like an ARP scanner is an option. Here we go. Chris used NetDiscover, real nice option. Okay, guys, so let's talk this one through. Why would you go after an ARP scan? You may want to go after an ARP scan specifically because you want to see if you can do MAC-based discovery. You may have to do MAC-based discovery if you're in a situation where the hosts have local firewalls. So if the hosts have local firewalls, you might be in a situation where you're like, okay, maybe what I have to do is just try to see which hosts respond to an ARP lookup, and that way you can figure out where those hosts are. Because you can't break into anything if you can't figure out where the hosts are. I think I have one on. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo that. Okay. So you've seen some options, things that you can do, right? To understand that Nmap takes that star, right? It takes the /24, or you can take a whole range of IPs. So if you were in a situation where you just wanted to scan, Nmap SP 10.0.0.10 to 12, right? You can do that. You can do that, right? Maybe you just want to do Nmap dash lowercase s capital P 10.0.0.100 to 150, right? This is stuff that you can do. Okay, so the first part is, can you figure out if stuff is out there? Now, I do think it would be really good to have a slide here on okay, probably should have a slide on ARP scanning, right? Okay. What you might want to try to do is something called a list scan. Okay. So what you're doing here is you're saying lowercase s, capital L. What it does is it looks with DNS to try to see if it can find something. Okay, another option might be to try, and Metasploit doesn't work. Okay, that didn't work at all. Alright, so there we go. It's a little bit more realistic. Okay, maybe you can try a Metasploit ARP scan. Okay, okay, so internal network scanning. It's a simple process. Okay, so we can sweep alternative 1, and sweep alternative 2. There you go. So that gives you 2 options you can try. All right, your next one is your port scan option. Okay, so let's see our next question. It says it's good net discover, but it produces a lot of broadcast in the net. Okay, that's a problem if we want to hide. Well, right now, let's not work on stealth just yet. Let's not work on stealth just yet. I think you're going to find that it's going to be tough enough just to reach internal network hosts. That's actually going to be pretty tricky. I got some firewall stuff going on, I got some routing stuff going on, and I got some traffic management stuff going on. So it's going to be kind of tough. You're going to need to really work just to identify hosts. So I'm trying to give you things that should help you with identifying hosts. Okay. Okay, got that, got that. Got the ARP scanner. Here's the port scan. Now I need to get my next port scan slide. Okay, so here's your first port scan option. So you can try regular port scans, right? This is an example of a stealth scan against a particular IP, or you can try it against the whole subnet. I put in some throttling because I didn't want to have denial of service situations. So I put in some throttling. So you don't really want to do a lot of heavy scanning of the entire subnet. Ping sweeps are one thing, but like really, really heavy scanning of the whole subnet, you're going to find that you get throttled. That was a little VPN trick that I've done. So I spent a lot of time trying to ensure that one person doesn't DOS the whole network. Okay. So some things that I do personally, when I scan, I try my best to not do wide open scans. Something like this, Nmap is going to scan 2,000 ports. So I'm not a real big fan of wide open scans. If you do this, you're going to scan 2,000 ports. What I would be looking to do if I were you is something more along the lines of this. So if you look here, I'm scanning port 21, right? 23, 25, 80, 80, 80, 1433, 1521, right? So as an example, 21, FTP, 23, Telnet, 25, SMTP, 80, web server, 8080, proxy, Tomcat, 1433 is SQL server, Microsoft SQL server. 1521 is Oracle. 3306 is MySQL, right? And then that's all against any individual host that you find. And I think that would be a little bit more valuable to you if you tried to go about it that way. Okay, now some tricks that I can give you, here. What we're doing here is some different scan options. Scan delays, max rate, right? Fragmentation, changing the MTUs. I want to let you experiment with this kind of stuff. The reason I want you to experiment with this kind of stuff is because I think you're going to find that some of this stuff may be required in this network. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Okay. So I did a couple of other things that you may have found interesting here for the banner grab slide. Once you figure out which hosts are available, then you figure out which hosts have ports open. Then you want to look at what services are open per port. An example would be to netcat into a port. Now this is just showing you what you type when you netcat into a port. The response should be the banner of what the port is. Like if it's Apache, it's say, Apache 2.2.5 or something. Another thing that you can do is you can do an Nmap with the version scan. You also can use OpenSSL for SSL encrypted services. Let's change this. So if you have a service that's running on an encrypted port, something like, it's running on 443, right? So you can connect to it and try to read the banner this way. Maybe it's IMAP S, you can connect to it with OpenSSL, right? Maybe it's POP3S, you can connect to it this way. Okay. Then if you want to look for attacks, when you read the banner, you would look that banner up right here. When you read the banner, you look that banner up right here. I'll give an example. What if, for example, you see that it's running serve you FTP. So you see that a port's open and it's running serve you FTP. So you decide to search for it and you're like, oh, I found one machine that's running serve you FTP. So you get over, you look at it. What you need to know is what version of serve you FTP is running. What version of serve you FTP is running? Is it 7.4? Is it 7.1? So let's take, for example, let's say you found a server, it's running FTP. So you went through your steps, right? How would you find a server that's running FTP? You went through your steps. Your first step was to ping sweep. When you ping sweeped, you found this server was open, right? You're like, hey, this server is open. It's alive, right? Now, maybe you were trying to ping sweep, okay? Now, look, if you can't get anything on step 1, don't move to step 2. Solve step 1. So if I'm ping sweeping and I can't find anything out there, okay, well then maybe they're blocking ping. So I need to find an alternative. Maybe I can do it with DNS. Maybe that'll work. Okay. Maybe I can do it with Metasploit. Maybe this will work. Change this to 1 to 254, right? Maybe this will work. Who knows? Okay. But no matter what, I gotta find host in this network. This sucker needs to tell me, oh, there's 6 hosts available. Oh, there's 12 hosts available. Once we find those 12 machines that are available, then we can move on, right? If you go, hey, there's 6 machines, there's 10 machines, there's 3 machines, there's 2 machines. If you can't find any machines, don't move on to this step. Don't move on to this step. You've got to find stuff that's reachable. Okay. Now, we've got a couple of hosts that are reachable. Those hosts that are reachable, now we got to see if we can figure out what ports that are open on them. So you can do a wide open scan. Remember, the wide open scan scans 2,000 ports. Okay, well, that's one option. Another option is to furnish a list of ports that we think are pretty common to be open. Go after those. I will tell you this, there really isn't very much non-standard stuff running on non-standard ports. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ha ha, I thought you'd like that. Okay, the next thing that I think you should look at is, okay, if you're running into, I know the box is alive, but I'm having a tough time figuring out what ports are open. That's when we want to try these options. Okay, that's when we really want to try some of these options. So we want to see if changing timing between ports I connect to, or changing the max rate, or changing the fragment size, or changing the MTU size, does any of this stuff have any effect on what I can discover as being open on those machines? Okay, once you can figure out that our ports are open, remember we started with the ping sweep. What hosts are alive? Then we started with the port scanning. What ports are open? What exactly can I talk to? So you start saying, okay, if I find out what ports I can talk to with a port scan step, then I want to say, all right, well, what services are running on that port? Let's say you did this, you found that port 21 was open. You did this, you found that port 21 was open, and you go, hey, port 21 is open on 10.0.0.15. It's not, but just hypothetically, right? So now it says, oh, serve you FTP 4.2. Serve you FTP 4.2. So you go, okay, my next step, I take that, that's called a banner. I take that banner and I go to one of these websites. And I'm going to look up that version. So I'll go, oh, serve you FTP 4.2. Well, look there. Anything less than 4.2. Okay. What about this one? Anything 4.x. So 4.2 would work there. Anything less than or equal to 7.3. So serve UFTP 4.2 would work here. It would not work here because this is only for 7.2.0.1. It could work here because this is for 4.x. Okay, and then I'd like you guys to just kind of play in the network a little bit. Now, I took some servers down and I put up a bunch of new servers today. Now, I haven't figured out what's the pace of how often I'm going to change out the network. My gut is telling me to change out the network on Monday mornings. How do you guys feel about that? If I change out the network on Monday mornings, I do my walkthrough, maybe I should change out the network on Wednesday. That way I can cover what you could have done in the network last week. What would you guys like me to do? I want the network to change so that you guys can see new stuff. I'd kind of like for it to change weekly. What do you guys think, more or less? Any thoughts? Okay, so I've got one vote for weekly. So on that Tuesday, let's say Tuesday, do you want, should I leave? So, okay, okay. Oh, not a problem, Kasif. Yeah, I'm making this recording available. Okay, so I got a couple of votes for weekly. So now, do you want to have classes 2 nights a week, Tuesday, Thursday, or just Tuesdays? Okay, Tuesday, Thursday. Now, if knowing that's the schedule, what do you want to do? Do you want to do, like, I run the network through the whole week, then on Tuesday, Thursday, I show you stuff that you can do in it, then Sunday it changes? Okay, you want to refresh the network on Wednesdays? See, the only reason I'm asking this is what I haven't figured out is if I'm going to be changing the network, what do I teach each week? Okay, Wednesday works, use Tuesday to show tricks. Okay, so let's say I go through, like today's Tuesday, your network started, well today's Thursday, but anyways, your network started on Monday, let's say for example. on next Wednesday, I'll have taught some stuff on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I refresh the whole network. Thursday, that would give you a chance, that would give me a chance to teach you some new tricks because there's new stuff in the network. And then you kind of got all the way up till Tuesday to mess with it. Is that what you're thinking? Fuzzing, exploits, evading. Okay, so right now the tentative vote is we're going to go Tuesday and Thursday nights. Okay, so I'll update the course, I'll update the GoToWebinar so that we're Tuesday and Thursday nights from 7 to 9. Every Tuesday, I'll give you a wrap-up of the previous week. Every Thursday, I'll show you some new tricks for the new network that I deployed on Wednesday. Is that what you're thinking? Guys, can I make a suggestion? What if I deployed the new network on Thursday morning? The reason for that would be that would give me, what if I deployed it either late Thursday night or late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning? What that would give me is that would give people who got the video from Tuesday, they could try it on Wednesday before it's gone on Thursday. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, so basically what we're dealing with is the new network should go live on Thursday so that guys, when they get the video Wednesday, well, they get it Tuesday night, but let's say you missed Tuesday's session, you got the video Wednesday, you still could watch it, try a thing or two before the next week's network changed. You guys okay with that? Okay. All right, so right now we're still, okay. All right, so right now we're still doing some experimenting with the network. Right now, I have the VPN as a routed subnet. I'm considering switching it to bridged. So I'm thinking about that. I don't know that I want to do that. I ran one bridge before. The issue that I ran into was just what happens when you get a lot of users. But where I'm at in Amazon AWS, I really won't have that many users. I don't think we'll get more than 200 users. So I got a feeling I'm going to do that. So there might be a week where I'm experimenting with the network, changing it from routed to bridged, and we'll just see how that goes. But I don't want to do that this week. I personally think I did route it because I didn't want to have a lot of broadcast traffic leaking from one network to the other. If you're bridged, then you deal with more broadcast traffic. The problem is for some of the Windows-based hacking stuff, it'd be kind of nice to see some broadcast traffic, especially if you want to do things like snip. So I got kind of mixed feelings on it, and I don't know if I might make a second VPN, a second subnet to connect to. I'm not sure how I want to do that yet. I'm thinking about that too. So that's kind of where my head's at. You guys have any questions for me? Okay, now how many of you guys have been using, that is correct, labs are 24/7. How many of you guys are using the new support email address? support@strategicsec.com, this email address. This email address generates a trouble ticket. So if you're having an issue where you can't connect to the network, please don't email me. Please do not email me. Let me say that one more time. Do not email me. Email support. The reason I'm asking you to email support, is you'll get a faster response. If you email me, I'm checking email nowhere near as often as the support stuff. The other reason that emailing support is a big deal is because if you email support, it becomes a trouble ticket. It becomes tracked. So I can make sure that I work with you. Emails, sometimes I forget to respond. Sometimes it takes me a while to respond. If you create a trouble ticket, it's tracked. I can follow you. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to give you guys these slides that you just saw me working on. So I want to give you guys these slides. Phone numbers changed. Okay, so we'll do a lab network scanning. Okay, so I'll upload this video, and I'll give you guys these slides with it. That sound okay? Okay, Kenny, I'm not going to say how many hosts are out there. Other people need to discover this for themselves, good buddy. So I can neither confirm nor deny that there are that many hosts out there. Sounds like you're on the right track, though, buddy. How we doing? You guys doing okay? Um, I wanted to make a Google group. Let's see. Are you guys okay with a Google group? Okay. Okay. All right. I'm just going to turn my screen off real quick so that I can. Okay, so I just sent out the first batch of invites. There's your next batch of invites. Okay, and the next batch of invites. Okay. I'll turn the screen back on. Okay, so we had a lot happen for you guys today, huh? first day because okay, so here will be it's a base video. It's, okay, after discussing, it continues. Decided to continue with Lab Network walkthroughs on both Tuesday and Thursdays each week. So I will be resetting's not a good word. I will be changing the network targets every Thursday. Every Thursday. The reason for this is so that on Tuesday's walkthrough, I will cover possible attacks to try. That will allow students that missed Tuesday's session the opportunity to try what I covered in Wednesday's Tuesday's session on Wednesday before the network changes from the network topology / hosts change. On Thursday's session, I will give hints to try in the lab for the upcoming week. Okay, is that okay, guys? All right. All right, guys, I say let's give this a try, okay? All right, guys, I'm going to button it up, stop the recording, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have fun in the lab.